What's up, everybody? It's Picks in Deep. I'm JD Bunkis. He's Justin Bourne. Just a couple of guys who always pick against the Montreal Canadiens and look like fools. Are we doing it a third straight time, Bordy? Are we picking against the Habs again?
Yeah, I just can't bring myself to bet for them when I don't think they're particularly great offensively. And they're going up against the Vegas Golden Knights, who gave up the least goals in the NHL this year. So what I see as a weakness for them should be exacerbated. I like Vegas quite a bit here. I actually think that the odds are so heavily tilted in their favor that I'm going to bet -2.5 on this Vegas team. So -2.5 games is the only way to get in plus numbers. So if Vegas beats Montreal in 5, I get +120. That's what I'm betting.
You and I are always hunting those plus numbers.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to you earlier today about, well, maybe Montreal's going to be friskier and maybe Vegas loses their edge because they're such heavy favorites. They're -500 to win this series. So
Wow.
You obviously can't bet that unless you're betting Floyd Mayweather money, right? Like you got millions of dollars to splash around in Vegas. By all means, -500 to win the series. I'm with you. It's +120 right now for Vegas -2.5. And can I not see a scenario where they wrap this thing up and it's a 5-game series? I can. So I'm going to ride with you. I'm also going to bet down on that. However, because I think that two of those things that you mentioned, Vegas being better and it being a defensive series, I'm going to the player props in this one. Unders. Least fun thing ever to bet. Unders in a series where one of these things happens tonight and you don't even really enjoy the bets. But there's a couple that really stuck out to me. First of all, Brendan Gallagher under 3 points. He's got 4 points in 11 games so far throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't think that this little added rest is going to get him to be 100%. He's just not healthy. He's not the normal Brendan Gallagher, and I don't see how he's going to get up to speed and all of a sudden start stacking points against a group that you mentioned already is the best at stopping points against in the NHL. So My favorite bet is Brendan Gallagher under 3 points.
Well, and that's the thing here is like not necessarily, predicting this series perfectly, but finding what's a reasonable outcome that'll get us paid. And for me, I'm the same way because I believe in Vegas's defense and Montreal's sort of weakness offensively. I like the unders. How many goals is Montreal going to score in this series if we're right about games? They go 4 or 5 games. They might score 8 goals, something like that, maybe less. So anytime you have a high point total right now, Toffoli has his over-under line at 3.5, and Nick Suzuki's is the same. Both of those pay just under even at like -118, I think, roughly -120. Both those guys, I don't, if they get 4 or 5 points, Montreal's doing better in the series than I anticipated, and I'm losing my bets anyway. So I like those guys under 3.5 points.
Yeah, I'm also going to go under on a Golden Knight, and that's Chandler Stevenson on goals. He's at 1.5. I'm not really sure how they settled on that number. Good player, no goals this postseason. Again, they're facing Carey Price in a Montreal Canadiens team that I do think is going to try and limit shots in this series. And so a guy that I don't see being on the ice for a ton of empty net situations to kind of grab those. I don't think that's Chandler Stevenson's role in the series. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a 1.5 just seems a little bit too much. You're paying some heavy juice here. It's -192. That's the price that I grabbed it on. So looking at it as a nice parlay piece, but a little bit too much for me. And I would just say that my suggestion for this series overall is looking at a lot of players with unders if you think it's going to go short. If you're a Canadiens fan, then this is an easy series for you to pick because the point totals are so low for the players just basically across the board that if you think Cole Caulfield's going to do something, then you are going to be able to get an incredible number for him just to score 2 goals. Kotkaniemi is -139 just to score 1 goal in this series.
Well, and I'm tempted there. It's +105 on that if he doesn't score. It's like I don't hate that bet in terms of chasing odds.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. So if you like the Habs, I suggest taking some Habs player props over because they're so low. If you like the Golden Knights, I suggest doing what I'm doing and you're doing, it feels like, which is banging a bunch of player props in the unders and a short series at -2.5 at +120. If you want to bet any of these, shoot us a DM on Instagram is probably the best way at JD Bunkus, at JT Bourne, and we'll try and set you up. By the way, Cowards Parlay, it's back. I have Vegas in game 1 in regulation as a part of the piece. So if we're going to get these Vegas bets, I'm going to need game 1.
Yeah, good for you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Covering it all series. This is Picks in Deep. JD Bunkus, Justin Bourne. Talk to you soon.